common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Do we have our brother on?
Yes, we do. We have Professor Alan Dershowitz, the great Harvard professor emeritus.
I turned it over to the two lawyers in the studio.
Absolutely. Professor Dershowitz, it's great. I'm the pseudo one here. We're the junior ones here. Professor Dershowitz, real quick, we want to get to you on this news that the U.S. is sending 100 troops to Israel. They're deploying a major missile system.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that real quick?
Well, about a week ago, I said I thought that the Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, and Biden had made a deal, either indirectly through some of their subordinates and maybe directly on their relatively recent phone call. And I thought the deal was that Bibi would withhold attacking Iran's nuclear sites in exchange for something very substantial. And that may have been sending 100 American troops to man or woman, a defense system that would send a message to Hezbollah. Look, you attack that system, you're attacking America. And also a message to Iran. Also, I would hope that if there was a deal, it would include a commitment by the United States that if Iran gets any closer to a nuclear arsenal, the United States will finally do what it should have done a long time ago, provide bunker-busting bombs to Israel so that they can go in and finish the job, which they can't do now. So I think this may be part of the deal, and ultimately the deal will be disclosed because there are no secrets. But right now, all we can do is speculate.
Yeah, absolutely. Judge Weinberg.
Alan, you had a great column in the National Review, and you said Biden can save the world by working with Israel to knock out the nuclear capacity of Iran. Would you explain that, please?
Yeah, right now, Biden and Obama are the Chamberlains of the 2020s and 2010s. Neville Chamberlain said peace in our time, and he negotiated with the Nazis, and he allowed them to build up their strength. Right now, if nothing is done, Biden and Obama will go down in history as the Neville Chamberlains of this century. But he can stop that if he were to cooperate with Israel and destroy totally Iran's capacity to create a nuclear arsenal. Is he going to do it? I don't know. He has enough time to do it.
We got 22 days.
No.
You have until January 20th.
They have until January 20th.
But
lame duck presidents have done a lot of good and a lot of harm. For example, Obama, who didn't have the courage to stand up and say what he really believed about Israel while he was not, while he was still viable in office. As soon as the election was over and as soon as he's now a lame duck and, there are only a few more days of his presidency, he, for the first time in American history, did not veto a Security Council resolution saying that the Western Wall in Jerusalem is a legally occupied territory. His true nature came out only after the election. Now, I think Biden's true nature on Israel is a little better than Obama's. I don't think his true nature on Netanyahu is, but I think on Israel itself. And, look, I wrote this column in order to really encourage Biden to go down in history, to be remembered not as the Neville Chamberlain, but as the Winston Churchill. And it's his choice.
Well, the question is, does he have it in him? My goodness.
I had Admiral James Stavridis, who on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, who was Supreme Allied Commander.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah.
He was great, and he's more democratic than anything. He's not a right-wing person. He's a Democrat mostly. And you know what he said? We're on the brink of disaster.
No, I think he's right.
There's so many similarities. Similarities to the stuff that happened in World War II.
Well, the thing that's most disturbing are the young people. The young people, blonde-haired, blue eyes, nice-looking kids who are marching in Munich and Berlin and physically preventing Jews from attending classes, getting people like Albert Einstein, great scientists, thrown out of the school. That's what's happening. I recently spoke with the presidents of two of America's major universities. I'm not going to name them. They were both personally extremely sympathetic to Israel but really couldn't speak out because of fear that if they do, they will be demonized by the faculty, particularly. The faculty is the real problem. Faculty and administrators are so hard left, so anti-American, so anti-Israel, many of them anti-Semitic, some of them anti-Semitic and Jewish at the same time. It's a bizarre world on university campuses today, and we're fighting back. You know, I just produced a pamphlet. It's not done yet. It'll be done in 2 weeks, called The 10 Big Anti-Israel Lies and How to Rebut Them. We're trying to get 1 million copies of that handed out free to college students at 1,000 American universities, so they will have the information that will enable them to answer these Hitler youth that are marching against Israel and against America, that are tearing down American flags and are calling for victory for Hamas and victory for terrorism. So we're trying to circulate that 1 million copies to 1 million students, hoping that will maybe change the dialogue.
Professor, I said Patrick Henry's quote, what was it?
Give me liberty.
Give me liberty or give me death.
It's going to go down like with Charlie Gasparino's one, go woke, go broke.
Yeah, I think go woke, go broke. We're all trying to make that happen, and we have to continue to make that happen. Do not buy products from companies that are against free speech and against civil liberties in the name of wokeness. Wokeness.
Well, let's make a list, Professor. Let's make a list of who is still go woke, go broke, and let's talk about it on WABC.
Yeah, and make them grow broke. I agree with you completely. Yeah. That's the only ammunition and weapons we have.
Well, you saw what happened to Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah. We also need a list of faculty members and students who support Hamas, and let every employer know they have a freedom of speech, but so do employers have a freedom of speech and freedom of hiring.
We have the courage to speak out.
Yeah.
Bravo. Yeah. By the way, I love that idea of a list. Vita Fasella.
Professor, I think we should add one more because history repeats itself. Has been there, done that, right? And that's what we've been seeing since the slaughter of October 7th of last year. Unfortunately, places like my alma mater, University of Pennsylvania, were sanctioning anti-Semitic protests, and there's been some progress. But I'm curious, do you see any glimmer of hope with respect to Iran and back home on the home front? And congratulations for what you're trying to do with the pamphlets.
Yeah, well, I do. First of all, yesterday, for the first time, it was disclosed by Israel, who captured documents from Hamas and Hezbollah, that Hezbollah was in on October 7th. They knew what was going on. They had made a deal with Hamas that if you start killing and raping and murdering Jewish and Israelis in Gaza, don't worry, we'll be on your side. We'll be sending rockets into Israel. So Hezbollah is as guilty legally and morally. They are co-conspirators with Hamas in every rape, in every murder, in every kidnapping.
As is Iran.
Yeah, of course. Iran knew about it too, and I suspect others knew about it too. And there are questions about whether or not people in the Palestinian Authority knew about it.
And UNRWA, I mean, oh my goodness, the list goes on. Yeah. It's shameful. Professor Dershowitz, thank you so much for joining us. We love having you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor.